Welcome to LPR. Tyler Yonke today. Look, Netflix. Oh, we had a good Christmas. Netflix. They did some NFL on Christmas. They had Stranger Things come out. Is this the end of the world? The end of normalcy? We're going to talk about a little about this. Then we're going to do some comments from previous. Hang on, people. It's going to be a wild ride.
Are you gay? Were you gay? Like, what is gay?
Nobody's gay.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you! You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
Welcome. Look at me. I've got me and our dog in here. Who doesn't like a little puppy? A little Chihuahua breed of some sort. Anyway, she's supposed to leave. Welcome, everybody. LPR, Tyler Yonke. We're going to talk about a few things. Am I going to spoil for you if you watched Stranger Things? No, it won't be a spoiler. Trust me on that. Because, you know, and I want to actually, let's put this in here because this is a really good comment here. Tyler's doing another Israel special tonight. No, I thought about this and I'm like, I made a conscious effort. It kind of wears me out, honestly. And you feel like it's playing defense, but I've gone on the offense to some extent. Josh Hammer saying things about Candace, which perfectly fine. But the thing they say about her is always wrong. So I'm just like, I mean, he wants her committed. And I'm like, I have no problem making the claim to him that he wants all black people committed. Because this is how they work. The dog is wearing a yarmulke, or is it a Hitler stash? That's what we've had. The sweet little dog. Anyway, I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you have a good New Year coming up here. It's Friday. It's been. Let me tell you what we did, and then we'll get into the substance of this here. We, our youngest is 19. Our oldest is 25. He wasn't able to make it. He and his fiance, they're up in Washington, and they had to work, so they weren't going to make it. We had already given them gifts. Then we got family in town. And then my daughter was over at her mom's in the morning, and then she's coming over. She usually comes over, 9 or so. We have breakfast and then open presents. And the other two kids, get up early and open presents. Well, they're getting older. I mean, we're talking 19 and 22. And then the other one's 21. So waking up and opening presents isn't always high on their list anymore. So they slept in. So then we were like, okay, so here was the plan. This is my wife's plan. Look, we're going to come in, we're going to have breakfast. And then we're, about 11 or so, we're going to go, I guess more brunch. We're going to go to my sister's house, about 30 minutes away. We're going to see them just because they always have a big thing in the afternoon. But this way, it'll just be my sister, her daughter that's there. My parents are over there real quick, then come home, and then we'll open presents. I mean, good Lord, we didn't open presents until after 2, finally 3:50, we finished them off. And the kids were a little bit like, what is going on? Anyway, the girls were spoiled. Oh, good. Yeah, you got to spoil your kids. I had a great Christmas. Hope you did too. Just popped in, and my wife told me they put Vecna with the power of gay or something like that for real. Look, this is the only way to describe
Are you
the show.
gay? Were you gay? Like, what is gay?
Nobody's gay.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Stranger Things. So I've enjoyed it. What, it's been 10 years since the first release? Yeah, I think. And when it came on, my kids all loved it. And I really enjoyed season 1, you know, and kind of going on from there. So they've been excited about this happening. But I've noticed that it's been kind of waning. And I'm going to get into the issues of if you want to go to Nephilim Death Squad and have them talk about all the symbolism. I mean, you know, there's just shit that's crazy. I'm just going to talk a little bit about Netflix over the weekend, or actually over the Christmas. And there's a lot of good shows that I think that are on Netflix still. So I don't have a problem with that. And, you know, you can do all your boycotting. I'm not going to go down into the position where you've got like Daily Wire, right? Where their intent isn't to protect their kind of conservative lifestyle. It's really to bilk you out of their money. So they scare you with stuff. I'm not going to scare you. I mean, go watch it if you want. Talk to your kids about it. And, but it was just my daughters. We've been talking about this coming into it. You can see it happening. You can see the gay coming into it, and it's really about story writing, and it's really about, you know, and I guess it is sometimes agenda, where the agenda takes over, and that is the story. So we'll play some clips here. But first thing I want to talk about, they had football. They played Netflix streamed football. Remember also they had streamed with Jake Paul and Tyson. What was it, last year or so? Their boxing match. And it kept crapping out. It couldn't handle all the people trying to come in. And so at one point, one of the celebrities that was there, he had it on his phone and he was just live streaming it. And it was like 6 million views. That's how I was ended up watching it. And then that got taken down. So, you know, it's like you're going to have to figure this shit out. I mean, Amazon does it. NFL Network does it. Then you got this. Netflix viewers furious over streaming issues during NFL Christmas coverage. I didn't really care about the game so much, so I didn't really get furious about the streaming, although we're going to read about it here a little bit. I just am sick of the pomp and circumstance. You know, some loser he's trying to wear a Christmas outfit. It's all these bitches on the sideline doing their reporting. It's just, they're trying to do something. It reminds me of when hockey decided that they needed the puck to be lit up. And you're just like, oh, come on. You guys are watching Epstein flicks? Yeah, I am. I checked out If the Slop like a season or two ago. Yeah, Jose, I mean, I want it done. I want it done and over. And then so I will see this and something for me to talk about, especially with my kids and whatnot. But let's read through this and then we'll talk about, I have a few clips to play. If you guys saw, and then here's the progress of the show. If you saw it up front, if you're just coming in, welcome. Hope you had a good Christmas. We're going to do a little bit of Netflix stuff here. Talk about this, Stranger Things, NFL coverage from Netflix. I got a few other things. I'm going to read some comments. Going back on some episodes. We're going to talk maybe a little bit about the USS Liberty episode that I put out. Got struck down. We were doing good on super chats at the time. I think I actually still get a collect on those. I posted it up. I edited out that portion. If you want to go see it, this is why, the best thing really to do is to go over to our Substack, tyleryonkey.substack.com, go over there and actually subscribe because it's not going to get taken down over there. I live stream it there as well. You can always see a replay of the live stream. You don't have to watch it live. You go into YouTube or whatnot, or Rumble. Those are the four. There's four main places we go to. We go to YouTube. That's usually our bigger viewer. We have Rumble. We got Rumble. No one in the Rumble chat yet tonight. It's also simulcasts over on X and Substack. And if you go to Substack, you're going to get the links and whatnot. And if then I make some clips and we put some stuff out. But I made a little edit for the. I had to edit out the deep, dead in the water, big portion that I had in there because we got struck down on live as we were having the show go. Okay, let's keep going here. Actually, sorry, I'm just clicking buttons here. That did not work out as I expected. Netflix second year of exclusive NFL Christmas coverage quickly turned into a frustration point for many viewers as fans across social media reported persistent streaming problems during the Dallas Cowboy-Washington Commanders matchup. Yeah, we were actually, I was at my sister's when that was going on, and it was troublesome. Hang on, you guys, you want to meet a dog? Okay, this is Gemma. she doesn't like being held this way. So I don't know. She's acting like she's all getting accosted. She's a good girl. Always a good girl, but she does need to go out in a second here. Instead of enjoying one of the league's showcase holiday broadcasts, many said they were battling pixelated visuals, lag, and sudden drops in video quality, issues that revive lingering concerns about Netflix's ability to handle live sports at scale. After viewers already slammed a shirtless cameo in the pregame show, more complaints surfaced in the early of the game and continued throughout the broadcast. One viewer wrote, Netflix streaming of Dallas-Washington game is in very poor resolution, constantly goes to low resolution, probably because they can't handle the bandwidth. Wish it was on another channel. Others reported delays between on-screen graphics and the live feed, adding the frustration during key plays and replays. Hey, look, production. I mean, I was just clicking on buttons over here and things are going crazy. It happens. Several fans directly tagged both the league and streaming platform while venting about the viewing experience. At NFL, at Netflix game, quality sucks. We're getting warm announcements before the live video we're getting. One user posted. Another wrote, Netflix, how in the year 2025 is your live stream quality? Picture quality so bad. NFL quit letting Netflix do live games. The backlash comes despite the league previously seeking assurances from Netflix that earlier technical failures would not be repeated during this year's slate. After the Mike Tyson Jake Paul boxing event in 2024 was marred by widespread streaming problems, NFL officials met with Netflix executives to review what went wrong and evaluate the risk of similar issues occurring during football broadcasts. At the time, the company complained that the fight had reached more than 60 million homes worldwide and that the unprecedented scale contributed to the instability while insisting lessons had been learned heading into future live sports productions. Oh, we didn't know it was going to be popular. That's stupid. It's Mike Tyson. I don't know what you expected. Making a comeback. The conversation, and it was a rigged situation, but still, that conversation helped clear the way for the league's expanding partnership with the streamer, which paid roughly $150 million to secure the rights for its Christmas Day broadcast. The agreement positioned Netflix as the exclusive global broadcaster for the holiday schedule as part of the NFL's broader strategy to reach international audiences. The league and the platform both hoped the second year of the deal would showcase improved reliability and production quality after a generally successful debut in 2024. Instead, the reaction this year highlighted how risky it can be with big games are locked behind a streaming-only service. For fans without cable or traditional TV option, Netflix was the only way to watch the Commanders, Redskins, Cowboys game. So when the picture quality dipped and they feel stalled and the feed stalled, there was nowhere else to turn. Yeah, there was nowhere else to turn. That's completely true. And if you wanted to turn anywhere, Snoop Dogg halftime show sucked. More hard R shit. Yeah. So there was a thing here about what people getting upset about a shirtless something. Let's take a look at that. Netflix viewers slammed shirtless NFL Christmas. Oh, Bert Kreischer. Yeah. So look, I don't know what you want out of your football. I don't want Bert Kreischer just saying that there. There you go. He took his shirt. He's so funny. He's so funny and original. He took his shirt off. Oh, wait. This is what we need. Yeah, Bert Kreischer's hideous. Not just how he looks, but just in general. He's just not, nothing about him is exciting. Okay, so there's Netflix's deal with that. But let's talk a little bit about the Netflix. Well, actually, let's go to what this gentleman had to say. Terrible stream quality and long interviews mid-game. Terrible product, Netflix. I just want to watch the game. I'm not worried about Clinton Portis's restaurant. Yeah, that's how we get a lot out of this kind of crap. So let's go to Stranger Things. And by the way, there's my first, by the way. I like how I tell my wife, okay, I'm setting this up 3:30 on Friday. I'm going to do an hour. Went to the gym earlier. And then 3:30 comes, so she decides this is a great time to just vacuum outside the door. It's like, I will do the vacuuming. And we only have carpet on the stairs and on the top landing. So the rest of it's hardwood anyway. So we have Roombas and whatever going around and do all the stuff. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I decided to talk about this. Let's take a look at this. gayer things here, and you can see a little video of them all sitting down. I'm not going to spoil how this goes, but you've been able to see this building up, that there's a lesbian on the show, and you've got to, there's you know what? I think the best thing to do is actually to play some clips. Let's start here with the directors and some of the stuff that they've had to say. And this guy, this asking the questions, he might be one of the worst people ever. Just dumb people. But here's where we go. And I'm like, I watched this show. Yeah.
As Will in episode 7, like, I was in tears at my laptop on my kitchen table. Could you just walk me through that day on set, having...
He was at tears at his kitchen table. Over a stupid kids fake TV show.
Most of your main cast there and present, was it one take? How long did it take to come together? And also too, the verbiage, because specifically saying, I don't like girls. Like, I think that is such a specific decision you guys made.
Yeah, I think we probably spent longer writing that scene than any other scene. This year, we were very nervous about it. You know, obviously we've been building up to that for a while. So yeah.
And why are you building up to that? This is what's so stupid. This is like kids trying to save the world, which is first just idiotic. Now, I want to be entertained, so I don't hate on Stranger Things. I am actually disappointed because I think it's so stupid that the way they come to. I've noticed it more and more. It's like they're getting older. This one bitch in there, Nancy, she's on the top. The military people are shooting at them. They can't hit shit. And she then pulls off some amazing shots and shoots back. And I was just like, I mean, I'm tired. Come on, people. But here, these guys, these Duffer brothers are just
Yeah,
amazing.
we took a long time working on that. And then on the day, I mean, it was a full day of shooting. We have like, obviously a large cast. You have to get all of them, their reactions to it. We shot.
Not the stepdad. The main, I think he's married to his mom, I think it is, or their boyfriend or whatever. He wasn't there. For some reason, you've got to have every third string, actor, almost extras to be there for this coming out moment, because you can't take down this evil beast unless you come out of the closet first. It's like, oh, please. And then it makes you want to cheer for the quote unquote bad guy. I'm like, okay, well, maybe this world is not worth saving if this is what you're trying to save it from.
Noah first, because we asked Noah, at what point do you want to go? So we did the wide shot first, just as a warm up, and then we went right into his close up. And most of what you see in the show was actually the first take. It was just one of those amazing moments where he just lost himself. It was very real. It was very honest, and we thought he just gave incredible, beautiful performance. Luckily, camera was good. Everything was in focus, because God forbid. So that's the take that's in there. And then poor Noah just had to keep doing it, and he always delivered completely the whole way, all day, for each of the other actors to be able to react to. But they were all very sweet too, because even when they were off camera, they were all there to support Noah.
Why are you there to support an actor? This is why it's so stupid, because I think in real life, this kid is, how do you say it?
Are you gay? Were you gay? Like, what is gay?
Nobody's gay.
Yeah. Well, nobody's gay. Milo, maybe we need to walk through. Let's hear a little bit more of what Milo actually said about being gay. I don't know.
Are you gay? Were you gay? Like, what is gay?
Nobody's
transition back. I think I need to fix this. You might have heard that. I don't know if let's let me try this again here. For some reason I wasn't.
Are
hearing
you
it,
gay?
So I don't know
Were
Okay, so maybe you heard it, but let me fix it. Tucker gay, monitor and output. Okay, let's try this one more time.
Are you gay? Like, what is gay?
Nobody's gay. In almost every case, and certainly in every male case, it is a trauma response. It is not a sexuality. It is not part of what you are or who you are or a component of your personality. It is a set of behaviors that emerges in people with a number of very easily identifiable common etiologies.
Interesting. So trauma is really about this. Could be. Subliminal Messenger says, happy Kwanzaa, Mr. Yankee. Thank you. Band Photoshop, what are you drinking this afternoon? This is Urban Roots Brewery. It's like riding a bike, it says on there. West Coast IPA, love your roots. What do we have? I think this is from, I want to say it is, this is Sacramento. Okay, so this is actually Sacramento, local up here. Subliminal says, if straight people kill Vecna, it's a hate crime. Yeah, could very well be. Okay, let's see if we got a few other. This is, and it's not even. This isn't about gay bashing, but it's about trying to work some sort of storyline that has literally nothing to do with this thing. Like I don't care if you're whoever it is in this show. It really shouldn't even play a part. Part of it is because they brought in way too many characters. This show has been split out. But let's see what this guy has to say about this.
When you invest in characters and story for years of your life, and then they fail you at the end by being either tone deaf to what brought you to that moment or disloyal to the spirit that made you love that storytelling, that's such a bitter disappointment.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay, let's go here. Let's see what this gentleman has. This is one of the guys on the show.
10 years and 5 seasons of the show. This is the one that I think Matt and I spent the longest on in terms of writing and rewriting just to get it what we felt was right. But the real true litmus test for us was Noah. And of course, we've known Noah over the years. We've known, talked to him about his personal experience. But and we knew that if he felt it was right for Will and felt for us.
Well, that's interesting. So let's say I had say I'm an actor and I'm really right wing and I'm anti something or whatever. Are you gonna incorporate it in that show because that's my personal experience? How about write some fucking dialogue and make it a little bit better? Okay. Subliminal says Netflix has to continue the era of gay heroes, dissociative MK Ultra trauma victims. Yeah, exactly. Wayward is another example. I stopped watching Wayward. When they had the trans police officer come to town and you just knew it was going to be a hero. This is the first 15 or so minutes, and meets a new officer and everyone's like, oh yeah, we're cool with this. And I'm like, in a small town, go fuck yourself. This is not reality. Okay, this chick here, I don't know if excuse me, I don't know if she has anything against the gays, but she doesn't like the story, and I believe that's true. The gay thing is just an indication of how far afield this story has gotten, okay? This is your main focus. When you're going to sit everybody down here like this, and they're going to have a coming out moment, he has to have a coming out moment specifically because he needs it to kill this beast, this monster. He can't do it unless he does that. That is extremely...
Are you gay? Were you gay? Like, what is gay?
Nobody's gay.
Why are you... Right. It's very gay. Okay, let's see what this chick has to say about
how badly you have to screw up as a writer to go from writing the #1 rated episode of your entire show to that same season now being considered the lowest rated season of the whole series, all in the span of 3 episodes. Stranger Things 5 is even more hated than Stranger Things 3, which, by the way, is almost ubiquitously considered a terrible season. Even the cast themselves said that it was pointless. And for the longest time, the Lost Sister episode from season 2 was considered the worst episode of all of Stranger Things. It was the butt of the joke of the fandom. Yeah, the Volume 2 cliffhanger is now right under The Lost Sister for the lowest rated episode of the whole series. And based on these interviews coming out and what the Duffers have been saying, I just know they're out there somewhere thinking that the fans are just bitter that we didn't cater to what they wanted. No, the fans are bitter because you guys lost track of what made your show so special. You grew the cast so big that you diluted the show and then took time away from the characters whose storylines people were actually invested in. You're the ones who made the central theme of your show, love is more powerful than fear, even explicitly stated that in the play that was meant to set up season 5, only to break up almost every fan favorite couple in the penultimate episode, and then do it in such a confusing way that you had to clarify that's what you were doing in an interview. The show just lost touch with its fan base, to be honest, and this goes beyond any one ship, any one couple. You have to massacre almost every single storyline to fumble the ball as badly as they did in these last 3 episodes. I just find it so ironic how the writers and the producers were out here saying that they needed to nail the finale because that's all anyone ever remembers of a show, and now this is their legacy. Do you know
We better hope we have some time, because if this is all correct, we have to get 2,000 feet in the air, find our way into the abyss, free Holly and the kids, and kill Vecna all before our worlds merge. And if my theory's right, he's gonna move worlds tonight. Have I mentioned how much I hate your theory? Me too. Me 3.
I hate all of this. I don't like girls.
We better hope we have some time.
law enforcement. Women couldn't meet the physical standards, so they were using a 20-gauge shotgun instead of a 12, which was a weapon of choice by law enforcement since
fucking muted. You're muted. How long have I been muted? We can't hear Tyler. That brown woman just gave us media literacy lesson. Side note, it's fun watching the bearded brother do interviews with Dustin, who's still his list. Guys, Will is gay now and monsters or something. Yeah, so that was me muted. So I don't know that you ever be able to know what's going on. Why did I mute myself? Oh, my wife was vacuuming down there. But this is Dana Loesch. This is Dana Loesch. She's like a Zionist, but I mean, is this really her? That's a dude. I mean, this is crazy. The camel toe there, as I said, and you didn't hear me, was if you feed that camel some meat, it won't eat your pants. That is insane in the membrane. Okay. Let's go to the full chat. Sorry, folks. This is just kind of one of these nights, Fridays here. Toe dyes. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's go to some, let's just go to your mailbag.
I think Tyler is amazing.
Thanks, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
You've got mail.
All right, I've got mail. That's about one of the worst intro bits you could have here. Hey, Satan, what now? Replied here. Great episode, Tyler. Merry Christmas. Same to you. Let's reply there. We're going to go through some of these things here. So you can make your comments on YouTube. That always helps the algorithm. But we're actually up on Spotify. This is what someone said recently on this one. As a real man, I'd like to hold Nick Fuentes down and put things in his... How do we react with it that way? Confirm. So it says needs review, but do we actually need review on that one? GT says, Merry Christmas, Tyler. Let's react with a heart on that. You guys can go over there on Spotify. GT's over there all the time. Are the podcast wars real, or is it just kayfabe arranged to cross-promote each other's channel? Oh, that's a good question. We need America to wake up and prioritize LPR. That is true. This is GT's own sounding board over here. He's like the JC of Spotify. Love this show, Tyler, but can you please go back to the OG outro or make a new one? The Tower Gang funeral still bums me out. Yeah, so I did make a new one based on this. Very much so. Okay. This guy says, great Brian Harrell 4059 says, great podcast. Just found you. What groups? This is one with Andy too. So this is a good one too, because Andy's over in here. This is where we did the respondent. Sorry. What groups do you suggest to seek or you guys work with that are working on legislation for judicial mandate for equal shared parenting when two loving and capable parents want their children to have equal access to them? Who should we support? I don't know of any advocacy groups that I would actually go on there right now. This one I think I'll respond separately. I'm also Seventh-day Adventist. Oh, sweet. This was talking when they had Mel on, talking about that. The USS Liberty comments here. Barkus Mole says they'll question your motives, then cry out in pain if you question. Yeah, that's the standard trope, right? Once the restitutions was paid for the victims and the intelligence vessel, it didn't even cover the cost of the boat. That is an interesting part too of the USS Liberty, which is they did pay something, but if you look at when they paid, it wasn't even. Tyler muted and then started looking at Troon videos. That's true. Bad Andy. They didn't even actually get some of the restitution payments until 2006 or so, I want to say. If you can look those up if you want. Most of us think of 250 million reasons the dog is being wagged. Okay, the serf's ordering the king. Larry Hagopian 9348 says the issue is asynchronous warfare. Yes, 52 years later, the U.S. citizen is starting to come to terms with this reality. Get rid of emotion, listen, pay attention, and never stop asking questions no matter what our rulers say. Watch 3 days of The Condor. Still up, I believe, on YouTube. It's just the Zionists we need to examine. Okay, 3 days The Condor. I will look it up. I think I wanted to say, have I seen that? Let's take a look here. We'll put this in the old Google feeder. I'll take a look at that later. USS Liberty is the iconic example. Suppressed but exemplar of just what is wrong with the artificial relationship going on, decades of madness. Name it yourself. Good, truly our greatest ally, with a laughy face. Yep. It doesn't matter for the reasons that were implied by the guy asking the question and the reasons Ben Shapiro laid out, and not to forget what, when asked to clarify, he could not. Okay, just because that guy specifically couldn't answer the question doesn't mean that they're not valid. Maybe we'll put that on. Just because that questioner, couldn't answer, can I spell? Doesn't mean it wasn't a good question. Oh, okay. John's 1949 said, ask why our government will not release the photos of the USS Amberjack Navy submarine, who shadowed the USS Liberty and photographs the attack. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, there's so much more about this whole thing. And to me, a lot of this is, you go back into the USS Liberty, and, part of the documentary that I actually showed there, which is the naval attorney, says it was just the research was, or the investigation was just shit. No anger is over the reality that we saved them from extinction and they paid us back with Epstein. They need to learn that station comes from action and not words in a book that has multiple confirmed falsehoods. I'll give that a thing. No falsehoods, just a self-important and arrogant people who only acknowledge the parts of the said book. Okay, there's a lot going on here. The USS Liberty was a spy ship spying on its allies. The U.S. killed Allied personnel by mistake countless times in Afghanistan. Okay, look, play along, people. There's a lot of comments being made here, and I appreciate all those. One thing I thought I would talk about real quick, though, is this post. I had a question here, JF, if the restitution paid by the Israelis to the Liberty survivors was paid from foreign aid. Yeah, well, I mean, great point, which is we pay Israel, and then what, they just turn around and refund us? It's like I have this, and we're going to talk about some family law stuff here. You have a husband owes a wife for support. I've had this situation where he owes her for spousal support, but she owes him for child support. Well, does he pay her? Let's say she owes him $200 and he owes her $500. Does he have to pay her $500 and then she pay back $200, or do you just equal it out and do that? That's like what they're doing. They're just probably took a debit off of something. We're not gonna, but we're still getting all these millions, and then you do this. Someone had asked me recently about, I'm actually going to write it here, about prenuptial agreements and whatnot. But I just got another person, a fan here of the show, or a listener. I should say a listener, right? If you're a fan, you should be throwing in some super chats. I don't see any super chats coming in, so we're not going to call you fans. We're just going to call you listeners. But a listener then said, hey, I'm getting married, advice stuff. So I sent him this link, and I thought it was actually a good time to maybe review this one more time. This is over on our Substack. Once again, if you go to our
Are you gay? Were you gay? Like, what is gay?
Nobody's gay.
If you go over to substack.com, tyleryonkey.substack.com, you'll be able to actually log in there, and you can read this. You don't have to be a subscriber, but you can actually find this actual article over on Substack, so maybe it would help you out. But recently a friend reached out about possibly getting married and wanted some advice and information. Here is his question. I've been in a serious relationship for about 6 months now. I wouldn't say marriage is around the corner, but it's definitely something we're both thinking about. We've had lots of hard discussions up front. We're planning to do pre-marriage counseling and a prenup when the time comes. Any general suggestions that you can give me? Things to watch out for, things to put in a prenup. Why most people get divorced. Really anything you'd have to say. Now look, I'll go through some of this thing, and maybe I should actually put it on the screen so you can see what I'm reading. It sucks getting divorced, okay? I've been divorced, remarried, and I think it's fantastic. She's now no longer vacuuming the stairs, so I think we're good here. You don't plan on litigation, and that's part of the problem. If you are planning on litigation, you might be getting divorced. In other words, if you're planning your marriage like that, then you're not thinking about it for a long term. So that's the negatives of getting a prenuptial agreement. And I think counseling is important, and it's important to go through and to figure out, if you got some sort of counseling to figure out the problems that you may encounter before you're doing so, premarital counseling, so that you make sure that that's the right person. Because, we've seen it. I don't have the clip up here, but never promise crazy a baby is a thing. Pre-marriage counseling is a great idea, I wrote. Anything you can do for a better chance at success at a successful marriage is definitely worth your time. Should I get a prenuptial agreement? I have no real opinion on whether you should get a prenuptial agreement or not, but my take on why couples get divorced might come into play whether it's in your best interest or not to get one. Couples don't get married anticipating divorce, and therefore we often do things against our own interest. Making sacrifices for your spouse or adding them to title won't be good if you get divorced, but it could help stabilize your marriage and keep you from getting divorced at all. Key to avoiding divorce. The real key to a lasting marriage is communication and openness. Each state likely has statutes and requirements for a prenuptial agreement to be enforced. In California, one of the requirements is that it must be completed, or getting a divorce in California is. Each party must disclose all their finances to the other party. Some couples are very interconnected and share everything, but most that I see with a divorce have separate accounts. I think the separation of accounts, or at least the non-access to all accounts, is a bad starting point. If something is going wrong in your relationship, marriage, and it will, the ability to hide activities is a ripe playground for feeling the freedom to search for attention elsewhere. I think that's about as profound as it gets from me, is about as deep, which is because it's going like the great thing here is you're online, you're in a group chat with someone and there's a girl in there, or a girl comes into your DMs and you're ignoring it. But now shit's going wrong with your wife. Okay. She's not giving you the attention, or you're just in a bad spot, the two of you. Suddenly then I go with this person for attention. And there you go. You go there for attention. That is a problem, even with spending money or whatnot, right? Just you're going to do your own thing. I'm not saying that you need to lock each other down. You need to at least have access to each of those accounts. For me personally, we don't share an email or X accounts. We have our own, but phone access is always there for each of us to explore. I have no issues with my wife checking out my DMs or group chats. I post and communicate as if my spouse is going to read it regardless. Over the years, she's wondered about these group chats and checked them out, to her dismay and disappointment. Yes. Point is, the open access keeps her trusting me, and it keeps me honest. The same goes for her stuff. And so it's a two-way street, really. It completely is. And this is, it goes back to our Nick Fuentes stuff, talking about your wife shouldn't be your friend. Yeah, I'm sorry. You've got to have a more trust in your spouse than you do just your friends. So it's a different relationship. It's a fiduciary relationship, and it's also a friendship. So you've got to do that. But yeah, it's a two-way street. So if you're open and honest, and you're open, access to her, all the stuff, you're going to then act a certain way. It keeps you on the straight and narrow. I mean, personally. What to get from a prenup, though? Well, with the keys to not getting a divorce in mind, which is, we talked about openness above there, prenup is really about rearranging the community property laws. Hey, let me do this one here. There you go. Community property laws to how both of you want to be. This is just a contract between two parties in anticipation of litigation, divorce. All my examples here will be from a Californian perspective, but the concepts apply for you as well. Most states are kind of similar, at least as far as like doing your prenup stuff too. For example, community property is defined as all assets and debts acquired from the date of marriage through the date of separation. This is the date you stop living as a married couple, not when you file for divorce. Anything you acquire before marriage or after separation is, or by gift, divine, or inheritance, even during marriage, is separate property. Therefore, during marriage, your paycheck is community property. So anything you buy or debt you pay down or when your income is considered community property. And this is the part that people are always kind of like, I'm going to put this here to place mark myself, always somewhat getting wrong, which is like, oh, look, I never had access to her accounts, or she never had access to my accounts. It's like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Unless that was a prime example. You have a separate account, you're married, but you both have separate accounts, then one of you gets an inheritance, okay? Inheritance is separate property, just by the definition we just saw there. But you take this inheritance and now you deposit it in your separate account, separate, bank account, but you put your paycheck in there. Now your paycheck in that separate account too is community property. The inheritance isn't, so you need to keep the inheritance completely separate and not mix it at all. You start to commingle your inheritance with your paycheck, which is half of it's hers, half of it's yours, half of hers is yours, and half of hers is hers. And you commingle that. Now you've suddenly taken a separate property item, your inheritance, commingled it, and you possibly have changed the characteristics and title of that, okay? To being community property. In addition, if you have separate property and use your paycheck to enhance it, like adding a pool to a house bought before marriage, or pay down a debt like the mortgage, or add to your paycheck to a savings account or inheritance money, it now has community aspects to it and could be considered community property. Commingling separate and community assets like money can result in changing the characterization of the asset from separate to community property, meaning you will have to equally divide it upon dissolution. Wah, 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 wah. That's where we need that. Where's the... Do I have that one? I thought I had the wah, wah. Okay, whatever. I don't have that. Oh, there we go. Now with the prenup, you can designate specific property to be considered separate property. Therefore, you can say retirement, a house, cars, or separate property are not subject to division as community property if you get divorced. So in other words, you're just rewriting the rules. You're rewriting the rules for how you want this to be. Additionally, you can define each paycheck as considered separate property. I typically suggest that the parties have a joint account that is for community debts, and any money added to that account in community, and anything purchased from that account is community. This way you can have your paycheck going into a separate account, not joint. And if both of you want to buy something, you can do it in the joint account by adding it to making money in the community by how you defined it in the agreement. It can be as simple or as complicated as you wish. Not everything can be enforced. So once again, back to the last thing. You get to define everything. You get to say right up front, this retirement account is separate property. Everything I add to it, even during the marriage, is going to be separate property. You can say no spousal support. Can you say no child support? The only thing you really can't agree on for a prenup is something that is against public policy. This would be something like agreeing one of you would never have to pay child support. You can agree that no spousal support will ever be owed, but you can't agree that you would never be owed, even if spousal support would ever be owed, even if a party were to become incapacitated. This may vary by state, and you might not know what is against public policy and you might not know what is against public policy until you try to enforce the agreement. From my personal and business experience, nothing helps a marriage more than working together as a team. Once a division of finances where transparency isn't the top priority, doesn't enhance the team feeling, and can start divisions in the relationship. If you are both set on a prenup, then do what you can to make sure you keep everything transparent and fully open, or it will eventually be a problem or a reason to feel like there is a problem. Best of luck. So yeah, I think that's this quality advice still to be had. Fuck your imaginary horrors. Okay. So why would some slut in my DMs do any better? Fuck them all. That's a good point. Let me show you my DMs here for a second. You guys are going to be able to come into my chat. So let's go to the requests. Wait, where'd they go? Oh, they're not. This is the problem with the chat. So here's my chat. There, but when I look at my phone and I put up message requests right here under requests, it is full of just like bot whores. I block and delete as much as possible. But I was gonna show it to you, but this is the problem with the desktop versus the phone thing here. Merry Christmas, Tyler. Great topic for the holidays. Well, thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. All this marriage talk giving me superpowers and games. I'm a tiny little fat troll, Tyler. Yeah, that's some funny stuff. I didn't have a ton of things. I wanted to mock Stranger Things for going forward here, and I wanted to also mock Bert Kreischer, who looks like he's a gay troll on Stranger Things himself, and then talk a little bit about that, and then we'll be out of here. So I'm tired of talking about Israel. I'm tired of talking about anti-Semitism, trying to defend all that stuff. So I thought we'd just make some a little bit different, go through some of your comments. Once again, you could go over there to Spotify as well. Is there any other commentary we want? I mean, these people really went, there was a lot of comments. I just didn't really care to, Candace. Let me talk about Candace real quick. I appreciate the seriousness. I don't. She brought on this guy, and this is the trouble. I think what she's done a lot is some good stuff, but I'm concerned recently about some of her vetting. Okay. And once you get really big, I'm concerned that these people are going to be trying to do what they can to set her up. Okay. So I'm just along for the ride. I mean, she had some military guy on there, and evidently he was at this military base, and he saw some people from Turning Point and whatever there. And so, there's this Hachuka, or I don't know, this military base. So then people are digging into it, and it is interesting. They're talking about, I know this Valhalla guy, I haven't watched a lot of his stuff, but he does and he's been mostly on the Candace side here, but he did an interesting thing, which is he is discrediting this guy because this guy had a lot of domestic violence in his past, or at least accusations, maybe some findings. Now, that's great. I would need to look into that a little bit more if you want my legal opinion. Findings of domestic violence is, there's multiple kinds. There's literally three types here. We'll talk about the top and the bottom. Okay, those are the two most common. The top one you have is criminal. Okay, beyond a reasonable doubt, you've got to have a unanimous jury typically for that, right? Most jurisdictions, and that's your criminal standard. Then you have your family law standard, which is one party, boyfriend, girlfriend, you got to have some sort of familial connection. They file a restraining order against the other party. That is a preponderance of the evidence standard. That's just 50% more likely than not this one person is telling the truth over this person. That's a really easy standard to get, okay? Really, really easy. And I've had ones go against us where I know the parties are lying, right? Against my clients, or I haven't prosecuted those ones that I feel like they're lying. I don't like to do that. And so my thing is then we're going to show evidence to this. And I will say a lot of those that I've gone with, the client is just insistent that we're filing this. I'm giving them warning. This doesn't feel like domestic violence to me. And you go in there and they get denied. But I've seen some go the wrong way too. Okay. So my point on that is just because some guy is coming out and saying he saw something. Okay. There is something to be said, and you can bring it up in testimony as far as someone's veracity. Okay, have they had a crime of moral turpitude? I think is the term we typically use, which is fraud, and those kind of things. Is there something that shows that he is an out and out liar? Beating the shit out of someone may not make you a good person, but it doesn't mean you're a liar. So I'm a little suspect when people try to just discount a testimony of someone or a witness on a totally different topic. It's the whole based on the fact that they have prosecution against them for whatever criminal shit. It's the whole concept of you can't a prostitute. Well, she's a prostitute, so I raped her. Well, okay, it's still illegal. Still have to have consent to do so. And that's what it feels like to me. Okay. So, I don't know about all these things, the stuff about this one guy, but I do get the feeling that Candace may be going down some roads where she's allowing herself. It's been fun, by the way. It's been a lot of fun, watching the soap opera that has been Candace Owens and a lot of the stuff there. And then, we'll just see if it continues. This is fascinating. I don't know what you guys have for music, likes of music. I'm a fan of New Order. And before New Order came a band called Joy Division, okay? Then the lead singer of Joy Division, trying to remember his name, I think he killed himself, okay? Then New Order comes out of this. This is your synth pop alternative stuff from the 80s. Bert, our friend Bert, had a shirt, and it was called, and I bought it from him. It's too small for me now, but it says the Joy Division of Labor. It's like two different concepts: Joy Division and Division of Labor. Joy Division of Labor. He did this. It's a nifty T-shirt. Okay, so this is a news report I just saw, and I think it is batshit crazy. But let's take a listen here. Take it away.
Now, tonight I can reveal that the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, asked the media not to film him when he disembarked from his VIP plane from Washington wearing the highly controversial Joy Division T-shirt. I'm told that Albanese said he was tired, he didn't want to put on a suit, and he obviously didn't want to be filmed in that T-shirt. Now, last night on this show, I explained the meaning of the band name Joy Division. Now, the band Joy Division took its name from a wing of a Nazi concentration camp where women were sex slaves. It was where female Jews were forced into prostitution for the Nazis. And the Nazis called this wing the Joy Division. Okay. Self-explanatory. Now, I initially gave Albanese the benefit of the doubt and assumed he didn't know the meaning of the name, and that would be fair enough. But then it turned out that industry figure Nigel Marsh told him precisely what Joy Division meant just 3 years ago when Albanese was campaigning to be Prime Minister.
I've always had an issue with the band's name, and I don't know how to resolve that. So I feel slightly guilty. You know where the name comes from?
No, I don't actually.
Well, I am slightly nervous in telling you because I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's awful. In 1955, a Holocaust survivor wrote a book called The House of Dolls, and it's about unfortunately the truth of the Germans in the concentration camps had divisions of women who were forced into enslaved prostitution for the SS. Yeah. And they were called Joy Divisions. Oh my really? God, yeah. And so that's where they got the name from. And I mean, I didn't know that for years.
Well, I wish I didn't.
Well, I'm so sorry to tell you. But the thing
is very dark, isn't it?
It's
but
awful.
Everything about the band was so dark.
Yeah, and obviously they were just trying to choose the most shocking name they can. I'm sorry for giving you that piece of dark background.
You should edit that out of the podcast just for the sake of the listeners, I think, so that they can continue to enjoy it. But they were so dark.
As I said last night, you can't edit history or delete the truth because it's not convenient to you. So despite knowing the meaning of the T-shirt, Albanese chose to wear it when he disembarked after the most important trip of his career to meet the President of the United States. And now I'm telling you that he asked the media not to film him. Opposition leader Susan Lee saw my report about this from last night, and she was so angered by it that she raised it in a speech in Parliament today.
He knew. He understood.
So I've got to go into here. I want to see this one. Band name, Joy Division, origin. Let's see if they talk about it here. Sexually slavery wings at Nazi concentration camps, specifically referencing the term as described in the Dollhouse Band. The band, originally named Warsaw, changed their name in early 1978 to avoid confusion with London Warsaw Pact. The name was chosen for its shock value and challenged taboos, though it led to widespread accusation of right-wing sympathies, which the band strongly denied. The name was inspired by the novel's depiction of women forced into prostitution. Is that true? How Joy Division got their name? I don't know. I also had read here that this whole story that it was actually, Joy Division was a thing that the Nazis called it is bullshit. I mean, first of all, as Ben Shapiro said, why are we concerned about events that took place decades ago? We just don't care. Okay. Me mom was in the Joy Division. Nice callback to the my mom was in the Holly, to the guy that Piers Morgan had on. That's so funny. I mean, I don't care. It's their music. Were they not? This is just so stupid. This lady, these Australians getting so worked up. This is why you start to wonder, though, about events that happened, like the Bondi Beach shooting over there, as some sort of like red flag, right? Because this shooting happens in Australia. Immediately there's pushback, and then suddenly this bitch gets on camera here, all just waxed about to the ambassador, the prime minister, with a shirt from a very popular band who was defunct, right? Like I said, the lead singer, and so New Order, is that New World Order? Have you heard of that? So they would do well to keep the pros in business instead of forcing noobs. I don't know what you guys are talking about here. We had one of those fake Somali places here, though. Somali Market, never seen it open, never seen anyone. Okay, false flag. Yeah, 70 to 80s got Joy Division. We got Tom McDonald's. Globalism is okay. So I thought maybe I'll do a little bit more deeper dive into that and see if that book is even correct. Because that's what you've got to go back to. It's like there's a book, and okay, so Joy Division was a bit of a macabre type of band, dark, I guess. But I mean, really, you're gonna do that? Ian Curtis, I think that's the guy. I think that just came to me here. I think it was Ian Curtis was the lead singer that died. I think so. I could be completely wrong. So that's what that lady said. Josh Hammer said something more stuff. I have everything in here is about Jews. I gotta get off the Jew flicks a bit. So here's one thing, and then I think we'll head out here. Noam Dworman, the owner of the Cellar comedy place, is a Jewish guy in New York. He goes after Dave Smith all the time. I did a whole podcast about how I think he takes cheap shots and straw men. But he had on the just irrepressible, the pathetic Josh Hammer, and they went at it. They went back and forth, and it's like Dave Smith did some stuff about them. It's like, how do you choose the one you're rooting against the most? I can't stand them, either one of them. According to the news, globalism is okay. Dog whistle T-shirts bad. Yeah, I guess so. Now I'm gonna have to get my dog Joy Division shirt. So Bohemian Grove, by the way, 3 happened last year. I heard them talking that they're doing a new one, and I didn't get an invite. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it out to this one. The Hebrew Hammer himself. Yeah, exactly. Okay, everybody, I think that's where we're going to stop for tonight. I can't come up with any more material. Go to, let's see, I do have, go to Substack, tyleryonke.substack.com. That's one way to get all your info. And we're gonna do a members only show coming up here pretty. I do have something planned for the New Year's. I have a year in review. Last year, I had asked Clint Russell to come on and do a year in review with me, breaking down the big stories. And I've already started to do them. So if I can't get, I'll ask Clint again. And if he doesn't want to come on or doesn't respond or whatever, I'll just do it myself, unless you guys can think of someone else. Kind of Shane Cashman. He was another one that I thought about doing. But then every time I think about doing a guest, it's like, it's a pain in the ass. And I just want to come on here and say my own thing. But maybe I'll see if I'll get Shane Cashman or Clint to come on and do a year in review. I've already started to do, month by month, the big news stories for the U.S. and global. Have Clint talk about Candace and Tim. I don't know. A lot of this stuff, I want new stories to come up. This is why one thing about the year in review made me think of, like, what were the big stories before the Jews just made everything about them? It's crazy. And then, I'm sorry, you have to play defense and you have to go push back, just like you have to do against Stranger Things and whatnot. So, spoiler on Stranger Things, Will comes out as a... Do I have this available? Let's try this here again.
Are you gay? Were you gay? Like, what is gay?
Yeah, exactly. Comes out as gay, and it's just stupid. They have one more episode to go. I think it comes out on the 30th, and from there... You're in review with Clint. I like that. That's pretty solid. I know there's some Clint haters out there, but also Clint's got a big audience, and if I could snag it, he's been on the show multiple times. If I could do that, that would be good. And it was kind of my idea. I took this from Dave Smith. Aren't all kids gay? Well, yes, they are. Get Cole. Interesting. I don't know if he pays attention enough to world events to do much, but I do need to have Cole on in general. Everybody back. I told Clint last year, because Dave Smith was going on with Ari Shaffir, and he would do this, State of the Union. And I'm like, how about we do a year review? And we had it planned, and then shit happened. And so there we go. Will comes out as demisexual Gorgon. Only watch for a season. Clint is gay, never forget. Oh my God. Hi, what's up, JC? All right, guys, I'm done. I don't know if we'll do anything over this weekend, but for now, I think that's all we've got. I've got to go help my wife do some stuff. Take care, everybody. I want an outro song. Here we go. Later.
Okay, I'm leaving now.
But she's back.
And now.
Tyler, if you had any clout about you, if you had any knowledge of the real world,
none of us are screaming, "Let's kill Tyler."
Tyler says, "My
Jewish princess."
You low key, you're one of the funniest dudes in the Liberty world that I know.
more or less, eat shit and die. He's just a podunk lawyer somewhere in rural California. He's an idiot, really.
Takes a tough man to make a tender forecast, Nick. I guess that's me. Keep fucking that chicken.
Do you see what he just did to Tyler? I feel like you don't get the appreciation for your humorous wit.
What are you talking about? I didn't say that. Why don't you argue with something I said, you dumb bastard?